Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited today. We have a big Hall star with us. We are talking with Cameron Mathison. This is so exciting.
Hey guys, I'll take my
Yeah.
glasses off so you recognize me.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
How's it
So
going?
you have new movie, the new Hannah Swensen Carrot Cake Murder coming
Yep.
out. And we're excited to have you on the podcast. And what we like to do with new guests is we like to learn a little bit about you and how you got started. And so what inspired you to get into acting?
Man, it's a really bizarre and unique kind of journey into this world for me. I would say that it's not the path I would recommend you aspiring actors out there. Anyway, I was in college. I was studying civil engineering, structural engineering in school,
Uh-huh.
McGill University of Montreal. It's a very good school up in Canada, and was doing really well. And I couldn't get a job one summer because I've been working with professors in between my college years. And somebody at a bar said, "Man, you should check out this modeling agency. Go say hi to them, whatever." And so I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So I went in and I talked to them, and they got me going right away, pretty much. And I got a job right away, and I made more money in the first week than I'd made in like the last 3 summers working for my civil engineering professors combined. I was like, "This doesn't suck." So
Yeah.
I continued modeling and taking acting classes and doing commercials and little bits while I was finishing up my degree of civil engineering. And then as soon as the day I finished, I wrote my last exam. I went off to Europe to model a little bit and try and get some commercials and stuff out there. And then that led to different things, and moved back to Toronto, and I was all in, and that's when I booked a movie, a pretty big movie. It was a big Miramax movie called 54 with Ryan Phillippe, Nev Campbell, Selma Hayek, Mike Myers. I was the head bartender. And then I was on the set of that movie when I got the phone call that I booked all my children. That's a whole other audition story when I booked all my children, but it was a soap opera, and I was on that for 14 years. It really was the real true launching pad of my career.
Yeah. So what did your family think of all this? Like you're going to school for engineering and surprise, I'm going to be on soaps. I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah, I didn't go over. I mean, here's the deal. They were really supportive, but also like with hesitancy. They weren't like, "Yeah, go for it. Woo!" So you're kind of like, "Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay, all right, we'll give it a shot. And I hope you enjoy it. And you've got your engineering degree to come back to, that sort of vibe." But once I booked all my children and all their friends started watching me on that show, that's when it became more real. And they knew that I was like, this was my path.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
So yeah, you were on All My Children 14 years. And how did you deal with just the amount of content that they shoot in those soaps?
It's in a way, it's a good question. People don't really maybe get it. Like maybe you do, but for instance, a Hallmark movie, we shoot anywhere between 6 and 8 pages a day on a Hallmark movie. Like a big feature film, like a really high budget feature film, might shoot 2 pages a day.
Yeah.
And then, depending on the budget of the film, goes anywhere between 2 and like 8 pages. So Hallmark movies about 8 pages. Let's call it 8 pages. On All My Children, and now I'm on General Hospital too, we can shoot anywhere between 20 and 70 pages of dialogue a day, just us,
Unbelievable.
just my scenes.
Yeah.
On Monday this week on General Hospital, I had 46 pages, just my scenes. Tuesday, I had 54 pages, just my scenes. Wednesday, I had 26 pages. So that was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And people do that all the time. Like it's crazy. So to answer your question, it's truly a muscle that you learn to be able to handle these things short term. Like you develop your short term memory.
Yeah.
And if you don't last very long. But if you do, there's some tricks to it. And for me, my trick is I always would record the other people's lines. I didn't always record my lines. Sometimes I would record my lines too. But the biggest mistake people make when they're trying to memorize a lot of stuff is they just try to memorize their lines and they're not listening to the other actor. And I'm telling you, you got to know your lines, right? You got to know what you say. But if you really listen, if you really like, the worst is like, oh, they stopped talking. What's my next line? And then you just try to memorize your line. And then, oh, they stopped talking again. Okay, I got to say my next line. First of all, it's not even acting. It's just like flat memorizing. And second of all, it's way harder that way. So my trick was always to record. I would just read their lines, like whatever the line is, take a gap. Whatever the line is, take a gap. And I would play their lines. And their line should trigger my response if you're really listening.
Yeah.
And that's my secret.
That's smart. That's a good idea. I could see that would work.
But you know why it's really annoying too? It's really annoying because then you end up memorizing their lines too. And when they forget their lines, you like correct. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy.
All right.
Like, correcting everybody all the time on their lines.
So do you have any particularly dishy plot arcs that you got for your characters?
Okay, so yeah, this is the
memorable.
new Hannah Swensen. Are you talking about the new Hannah Swensen?
Well,
right?
no, just on the soaps. Did you have any like evil twins or
Yeah. No. Well, I am a twin. Like my character's a twin. Steve Burton, who plays Jason on General Hospital. My character is Drew. We're twins.
Oh, really?
He's not on the canvas right now, but I'm confident that they'll bring him back eventually. And as far as storyline goes, there's a big sort of couple storyline between me and the character Carly, played by Laura Wright. She's like, I don't know, she's a genius and she's amazing to work with, and she's become a dear friend. And there's some big twists and turns. That's going to be a big wedge between Carly and Drew.
Coming up,
not necessarily an emotional wedge, but like a physical wedge. Like there's going to be a real challenge, a real hurdle for them to kind of continue their relationship, and really for Drew to stay in Port Charles in general. So we'll have to see. It's a big thing coming up.
Because that's the fun of the soaps, is the melodrama.
Well, this is some drama coming up.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's good. Well, so your first movie for Hallmark was The Christmas Ornament. And how did that all happen? Because that's a fan favorite. People love that one.
Oh man, that was like, it still might be my favorite. Like
it's really
I don't know,
yeah.
but it's so special to me. And the irony is my very first Hallmark movie, I played sort of the third wheel in Window Wonderland.
Yeah, so Window Wonderland,
Paul Campbell.
Yeah, those were both 2013, right? So that one happened first.
Well, I shot it first. I don't know which one aired first. So you're right. I'm not sure. Maybe Christmas Ornament aired first. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, sure. I shot Window Wonderland first. Okay. And
you were the kind of the villain kind of in that movie.
Yeah, I was the bad guy. I was like the annoying, kind of rich, cocky jerk. I think Kyler Lee, is that her name? Kyler Lee.
Yeah, Kyler. Yeah.
And it was really fun and it went really well. And then they had this movie. They had this really big movie. So every year Hallmark, has a couple big movies that they have to kind of promote and then whatever. Mm-hmm. And one was The Christmas Ornament. And I think it was Bill Abbott, who was the CEO at the time, saw my work in Window Wonderland, and they gave me the Christmas Ornament, and I just dove in and I loved it. And I just worked with Kelly Martin, and she was amazing. I loved the character. I still remember his name. It was Tim, and he had a tree lot called Tim's Trees. Mm-hmm. I want to be Tim.
Yeah.
So that's how it came about.
Had you seen Hallmark movies? Did you know kind of what the whole, I mean, it was just kind of started Countdown to Christmas 2013.
Yeah. Countdown to Christmas had just started. I mean, Hallmark movies had been around for a long time, but I had been in some Lifetime. I'd been in some ABC Family movies. I did a movie on a channel that's, I think, maybe called Up Now. I don't remember what it was called back in the day. But so I knew the essence of them, you know what I mean? Although Hallmark has a special magical feel that's a little different than some of those. But yeah, I'd seen them.
Yeah. So then you also had Christmas to Remember with Mira Sorvino. I love that one.
Yeah, that's another big. So, at the Christmas con events that we have twice a year, you get to really find out which ones are everybody's favorites. So Christmas to Remember is definitely a favorite.
Yeah.
I would say that comes up tied with the Christmas Ornament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, it's just a cute story.
Yeah, it was super fun working with Mira too, an Oscar winner. We sort of stayed in touch a little bit. I've had the chance to work with some amazing actresses in all these movies. They put me with some really very cool, iconic people. So, Mira was definitely one of. I've worked with 2 Oscar winners in my day.
Yeah.
One was Mira Sorvino, and then one was the very first Lifetime movie I ever did, which was back in 1997 with Bonnie Bedelia.
Oh, okay.
It was my first scene I ever spoke on camera was with an Oscar winner.
That's cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is. So you were on Dancing with the Stars, and that seems like that show would be extremely difficult.
It was really hard. I was shooting All My Children in New York, shooting 120 pages dialogue every week, flying red eyes back and forth, trying to learn how to dance. I was shooting 3 days in New York, tons of dialogue, taking a red eye, flying to LA, trying to learn how to dance. My partner was flying with me. We were learning in New York. We were learning in LA. I was fried. It was crazy.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite dance?
The Paso Doble. The Paso Doble.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a Superman dance. Well, one of my dances I did, Bruno said, "You look like Superman, but you danced like Clark Kent." It was my second week, maybe my third week. He said that. And so the show chooses music, right? Our dancers could influence them, but the show chooses the music, and the show gave us this theme song to Superman after that comment.
Oh, nice.
And they gave us the Paso Doble. So I did the Paso Doble, and I knocked it out of the park, and that was my best dance.
Yeah, you had a pretty long run, as I recall. Yeah,
I was on there 8 out of the 10 weeks. So.
That's
9 out of the 10 weeks.
I can't dance at all. I'm dyslexic, so I admire anyone who can dance at all.
I really truthfully kind of faked it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, so you also had the hosting gig with Holmen Family. So you've done a lot of different things in your career, a lot of roles in your career, and that seems like that also would be very demanding.
One of the things I did back in All My Children, which ended up to be really wise, was that I started working as a host as well as an actor. And at the time I was working on Extra. When I was on All My Children, I did a show called I Want to Be a Soap Star. It was a reality show on SoapNet. I did Dancing with the Stars, started working with Good Morning America, got hired on Entertainment Tonight as one of the correspondents, and then the weekend host. And then I booked, Holmen Family and a whole bunch of other hosting jobs, and while acting, and so it kept me busy in this tough business. And Holmen Family was my favorite job that I've ever had in my whole career. It was my favorite job. It was also probably the hardest job. It was very, 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 very taxing and draining. For people that don't really understand why that would be, I explain it like this. It's like if you've ever had a presentation to give to people, you've got that anxiety beforehand. You've got that pressure of knowing things. It was like I was doing a presentation in front of tens of thousands of people every day for 4 to 7 hours. You had to entertain them, and you had to be the expert. And you got the information for that presentation at 8 in the morning. and you had to start at 10. And when that 10 o'clock goes, you got to engage them. You've got to be the expert. You've got to know everything. And by the end of the day, by the end of the week, I like my adrenals were like shot. Yeah. And that's where I announced I had cancer through that. Like it was really, 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 really hard on me. But it was also my favorite job I've ever done. Yeah. And the most authentic thing I've ever done. So, I mean, Hallmark movies are probably the next in line as far as being authentic, but it's a bit of a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Whereas Holmen Family was just Cameron. It was just me. It was, it was really, truly just an extension of me, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, I have done a couple spots on our local Good Things Utah as a film critic, Friday Flicks, and even just watching those ladies, they're incredible what they do, and it's just that little tiny taste of that kind of thing. I think it would be very, very, very challenging. Yeah,
yep.
But rewarding. So
totally.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I would still be there if it was on the air. I love it.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's The Heart's Choice by Tracy Peterson and Kimberly Woodhouse. We have the perfect book for fans of PBS's Miss Scarlet and the Duke, and for readers who like a hint of mystery mixed in with their historical romance. In The Heart's Choice, best-selling authors Tracy Peterson and Kimberly Woodhouse introduce a female court reporter in Montana. During a murder trial, she's convinced that the defendant is innocent, but no one except the handsome new Carnegie librarian Mark Andrews will listen to her. In a race against time, will they be able to find the evidence they need and open their hearts to love before it's too late? Purchase The Heart's Choice for 30% off and free shipping at bakerbookhouse.com.
So then you had Murder, She Baked. So the first movie in 2015, did you know that okay, we're going to want to make a series of this? This is did you see it as kind of a pilot?
So it was proposed to me. My contract already had 9 movies in it.
Okay.
It was already supposed to be a series, because it's a series of books, obviously. So the producer at the time was like, "Yeah, we're going to do 9 of these and whatever." And it was supposed to be a lot, and there were some hurdles and delays and some hiccups along the way, as we all know. But yeah, what's coming out? I think the one that's coming out is number 7. Or I don't know, maybe 7 or 8, but it's amazing. It's been an incredible ride. So yeah, I was definitely hoping that we would have lots of them.
Mm-hmm. Did you know Allison from Soap World? I know you're on different ones, but
we knew each other. Yeah, we definitely knew each other. We've met before, but we didn't know each other work together, or we never I think we just met at the Emmys and things like that.
Right. Yeah. So they've been able to keep the cast together for this new Hannah Swensen. They have Gabriel Hogan and Barbara Niven and everybody kind of back, and so that's kind of amazing over all these years to be able to keep this cast together.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it's a big part of what makes this show these series of movies so great is the cast. I think it's one of the deepest casts of any series of movies that Hallmark has done. It's such a good cast that people, even the cat, even Moishe, you know what I mean? There's a real depth, and and Michelle, who plays Hannah's sister, and Lisa DeRupt, who played another sister named, oh man, I'm blanking. But anyway, so she wasn't available, but in the books there was another sister, so they brought in the other sister. It's been great.
Yeah. What do you think about this particular series? They've done many different series, mystery series. What do you think about Murder, She Baked, Hannah Swensen, that makes it special and it's had this it's lasted so long?
I think the cast is really special. I think the books that we're pulling the movies from are really special. The Joanna Flute books. I think it's really fun. Allie is really a superstar. and she does such a good, I think the baking aspect, people love that. People love the bake. People love the kitchen. They love that aspect. The other ones, there's different things that are bringing into mysteries that make it cool, but there's something about like just your average kind of like small town baker getting in there and getting in the mix. I think people really get a kick out of it. I think Allie is producer now. She's executive producer, owner of this series now. And she works really hard at making the mysteries. The mysteries are, I think, maybe the best part. Like she's like this mystery coming out. I don't want to say people won't guess who it is, because then you'll think that it's some sort of like person that you don't know.
Some good red
You know
hair.
what I'm saying? But it's so great that it keeps you guessing. Like there's probably 5 times in the movie where you're going to think that you have it figured out, and you may have it figured out, but you may not.
Yeah. When you read the scripts, do they surprise you? Or do you try to figure it out? Like,
yeah, I'm always wrong. I'm always wrong. Yeah, I mean, Mike is a way better detective. Actually, Mike is not even that great of a detective because he needs Hannah to help him out, to be honest. But I'll tell you, as bad as Mike is as a detective, Cameron's even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So this new one, you have the carrot cake murder. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of what's going on without giving?
Yeah, the interesting thing about this one, I think people will appreciate is, Allie's a real crime fan, and she loves cold cases. She loves cases that have been put aside and then because of new technology been able to reopen again. And this sort of has that aspect. Well, it's got its cold case, 25-year-old case.
Yeah.
That is stumbled across in a very cool way. And it's a very neat dynamic of trying to kind of put the pieces together of stuff that happened in the past and also stuff that's happening in the present, and connecting those dots. It's unlike any other Hannah Swensen movie that we've done.
Cool. That sounds fun. So if you were going to pick a baked good that's your favorite, that you would have there's this carrot cake, what would be your like favorite?
I like carrot cake. I like carrot cake. But if I was to choose one, like you get one, you're going to go off on a deserted island for the rest of your life. You just get one. Yeah. I probably end up getting sick of it, but it would be peanut butter cookies, but really good ones, like really peanut butter cookies.
Yeah. So we can have a Hannah Swensen, the case of the peanut butter cookie.
And who knows, maybe some peanut butter cookies are going to show up in this one.
Very good.
I don't even know it's carrot cake murder.
Yeah. So you had a pretty strong run of Hallmark movies with the Very, Very Valentine, Love of Course, Summer to Remember, and The Christmas Club. I like all 4 of those. And I was just curious about the experience of making one of them. You got to make out in Fiji. So that must have been fun.
Yeah, when you get a call to go to we want to book you on the next Hallmark movie, you're going to shoot it for 3 weeks in Fiji. You do whatever you got to do to make that happen. I was on Entertainment Tonight at the time, and I remember going to the producers. I was like, listen, here's the deal. I got a job that shoots in Fiji for 3 weeks. Do I need to say anything more than that? And I remember it being like a big deal, but they worked it out. It was with Catherine Bell, of course. And she's become a dear friend since then. We really hit it off, and that was a blast. But all those movies that you listed, they're all really special. Like, they're really special movies. I love them. And I just feel they're all like they're all like kids, and everybody says this, but it's so special to be able to make these movies. And shooting in Fiji was just stupid. What people don't even know is that every morning I'd wake up at like 5:45 and I would take a taxi about 20 minutes away, and I would play this world-class golf course on the edge of the ocean, on the coast, up in the edge. I would play it in like 2 hours, really quick, which is really quick for a round of golf. I'd take a taxi, get back to set to start shooting, like every day. It was sensory overload. Crazy. It's crazy.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything in particular that you do in these movies to help build chemistry between you and your co-stars?
Well, sometimes you get a chance to rehearse. Obviously you go out for dinner when you can and connect. They shoot so fast, you know. Well, obviously
Yeah.
with the Hannah Swensen ones, you don't have to worry about that because we know each other. But yeah, like dinner. Um, in a weird way, it's hard when the real intimate scenes are at the beginning of the shoot, but in a weird way, it actually helps
Mm-hmm.
because it forces you to kind of go there right away, and then
Yeah.
the rest of the shoot, you got that to kind of play off of. Um, but I think lots of rehearsal helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really love, of course, when you make the soup for I love that scene.
I remember that scene.
It's so cute.
That was really fun.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's hard to believe very Valentine that you could be friend zoned so hard as she does in that movie.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, wow.
Like
That's right. I
think,
haven't seen that movie in a while. I gotta watch that again.
I'm like, I don't think Cameron, I don't think anybody could friend zone Cameron Mathison in real life.
Listen, let me get my wife in here.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you a few stories.
Yeah, yeah. So, and the Christmas Club, I think that one is very sweet. I really enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, and it's cool
Yeah.
because Elizabeth Mitchell, who plays the lead female in that film, she's such a good actress. And it's kind of neat that she played Mrs. Claus in all the Santa Claus movies and on a
Mhm.
series on, I think, Netflix or somewhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. Disney Plus.
So she's like, oh, Disney Plus. So she's like fully associated with like Christmas, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's always fun to have like a connection like that.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Merch Store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies Merch Store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
We have some fun get to know you questions that we like to end the interview off with. So, first question, what is the best ice cream flavor?
It's going to be a little boring probably, but chocolate chip cookie dough.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Okay. What music are you into?
I'm into all music, but classic rock. You know, I love good quality classic rock. The Led Zeppelin, the Pink Floyd, the Beatles.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. All right. What is your go-to date night food?
Well, we have like our favorite date night restaurants. This restaurant in LA called Bavel, and they have an amazing grilled octopus, and then they also have this unbelievable lamb neck dish that would blow your mind. And so those are like, I don't know what they do there. I don't know what they do to make it so good.
Yeah.
But that would have to be, that would have to be my two choices.
That sounds good. Sounds good. All right. What's your go-to date night activity if you're going doing something fun? Out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really got to work on that as a husband, to be honest. But we love to do date staycation getaway nights, right? So we'll rent an Airstream up in the mountains in Malibu overlooking the ocean and just like kind of camp out in that, or we'll do like a cool Airbnb in Joshua Tree Desert, or we'll do like, those are our favorite, for a date night. We usually keep it a little more simple, but that's more of our, our date staycation, date getaways.
That sounds fun. Rent an Airstream. I love those.
They're cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Which do you like better, dogs or cats?
Oh man. Well, I'm going to share this with everybody. I'll just share this. I grew up with a cat. It was my first real pet. It was a cat. I guess that's not true, but anyway, it was a big part of my growing up. But right now I got a beautiful dog named Red. And I don't want to be a buzzkill here. I just want everybody to send love. We just found out that he's got cancer in his bone marrow along his spine. And he's on medication to help with the pain right now. So he's doing well. He seems really happy and he's running around, and we're just going to enjoy as much time as we have with him. So everybody at home and I'll send love to all the other doggies out there that are sick, because I know he's not the only one. So, just send love to all the pets out there that are struggling right now. Yeah.
What was that like on Holmen Family with all those dogs and cats that they had on that show?
It was such a cool part of the show, like being part of like getting thousands of animals adopted was so really special and heartwarming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems like they might get into a lot of trouble though.
Yeah, Larissa had to deal with it mostly, right? Like, so
Yeah.
Larissa was a pet rescue expert, and yeah, she was the pet wrangler. But yeah, there was issues for sure.
Yeah.
Pets gone wild.
Yeah. So which do you like better, beaches or mountains?
Mountains. I love beaches.
Oh,
I love
nice.
beaches, but mountains.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. What is your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Christmas.
Yeah. It's hard to beat Christmas because it's like a whole season, whereas others are just one day.
That's true. It's not a fair fight.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a Hallmark guy and Christmas movie guy, but it's really true. Like it's very special. It's very authentic to me to really be celebrating Christmas like this in these movies.
Do you ever get like burnout on Christmas though, with all the Hallmark stuff?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, good. That's good. That's what we want to hear. Yes. All right. Last question. What is your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie? And you can say one of your own if you want.
I don't get to see as many as a lot of people watching this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite was The Christmas Ornament. I'll have to go with The Christmas Ornament for my favorite as far as I've been in.
Friend Dory, that's her favorite Hallmark movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. There's thousands of them to choose from. There was one recently with Melissa Claire Egan, I think, and Mark.
Oh, yeah. Holiday for Heroes, I think is what it's called.
That was a really beautiful movie, too. And I'm a big fan of Missy. And
yeah.
I don't know why that one popped in my head. It's military. And
yeah, that one's a good one.
About that. And I'm also, she's my ex-TV wife from All My Children. And, I just think it was a special movie. But there's so many. There's so many.
That was a good one. That's a good one. All right. You did it. You answered all the questions. We're excited about the new movie. It's going to be super fun. And hopefully we have we'll get to see you this holiday season.
Hope so too. I'm lobbying for a Christmas movie. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Well, if people want to follow you on social media, all that fun stuff, how do they do that?
Just my name spelled out at Cameron Mathison on Instagram and Twitter. I'm much more active, and Facebook. I'm much more active on Instagram though.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it.
We'd like to thank Cameron for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun to get to talk with him and meet him and let us know what you think about all the different things we talked about. You can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure that you're following the podcast on Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group and merch store. Check that out. And thanks so much again to Cameron. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.